Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how I draw stylized cartoony girls' eyes. This video was requested several weeks back. Someone asked me if I could show them how I draw eyes, how I approach drawing them. So I thought it would make a really fun video for today, and that's what we're going to be doing. And I just want to say very quickly before I begin that I am not aiming to draw realistically here. Now I know that may be obvious, especially as this video is titled How to Draw Stylized Eyes, but I just wanted to mention it again because if you've come to this video and you're looking for a tutorial on how to draw realistic eyes, then this is probably not the right video for you, and I just want to mention that before I get started. There are loads of great tutorials on YouTube on how to draw realistic eyes. I'm going to be exploring different ways of stylizing eyes today. So I'm just going to start off by showing you guys how I would normally start with approaching drawing eyes. So I'm just going to start by, normally I start with a little line like that, just make a little line, then I go up and round in a curve, and then I bring it down, and I usually end it with the first eyelash. So as you can see, I've made a line like that, and then I go ahead normally and I thicken this line up quite a bit because this is the eyelash line. And if you've watched enough of my videos and seen me draw faces, you probably know that I don't actually connect my whole eye together. I like to draw a little line, a little curved line like that to indicate the bottom eyelash, and then I leave it. And this is something that I've developed. I don't know if anybody else does this. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody did, but I've spent a lot of time over the last few years drawing eyes again and again and again, and coming up with what I feel comfortable with and what I like. And I think one of the things that I did when I was starting out was I took large A3 sheets of paper and I just covered them from head to foot with different eyes in hundreds of different styles. I typed, I don't know, cartoon eyes, anime eyes onto Google Images and just drew everything I saw for ages just to keep practicing and to see what I like the look of. And these sort of eyes that I draw now are the result of all those drawings. So once I've drawn in some eyelashes on the bottom and eyelashes on the top, I can put a little line here to indicate the eyelid. I often put a little line down there, a little line here, and then I draw in the iris. And actually I don't always draw pupils. Sometimes I just kind of shade the eye like a gradient. So I'll go in like this and I will shade it, and sometimes I just do that. It depends on what I'm drawing. But that basically is how I draw an eye. So I start with that curved line sweeping over, and that becomes the base of the eyelashes, and then I draw the rest of the eyelashes in, flicking them upwards like that, and I draw this little bottom eyelash down here. I don't connect the two. Sometimes I bring the eyelashes further down like this so they kind of meet at this end, but that's basically how I start. So now let's look at an eye from the profile view. So if you're drawing somebody that's like this, let me just draw the head quickly here to show you. There's the face of the head, the nose comes out, comes down, then you've got the lips. If you're drawing someone like this, then you've got an eye that sort of sits like that. But I'll draw it out a bit bigger here so it's easy for you guys to see. So I start off with a curved line again. Then I have a bottom line and it tends to kind of curve like that. And then I just draw like that. So that's the kind of shape. I'm not quite sure what you call that shape, but that's the sort of shape I make. Then I come up here like this and I flick out the eyelashes like this, coming down, and then along the bottom. And you need to make sure that the eyelashes come further than the inner bit of the eye here. Otherwise it can look like the eye is popping out. And you just do go like that. And then I can put in a little bit here to indicate where the eyelid is. And then I just draw in my iris. And in this case I'll put a pupil in. And some shine. And yeah, so and a little line there sometimes. And so that's basically how I draw an eye when it goes like this on the face when you're drawing a profile. Let's draw some eyes that are closed now. So for this I'm just going to draw some guidelines, and that's another thing. When I'm drawing a face, normally when I have a face like this, I will draw a circle, come down like this, and then draw in my my chin, my cheeks and the chin, and come down like that. That's basically how I start, and I'll put in the ears sometimes. But what I do is I have my guidelines. So I have the line coming down the middle of the face, and then I draw two horizontal lines like that. And I know that way it can kind of help me make the eyes both the same size, because we all have that problem where you draw one really nice eye on one side of the face, and no matter what you do, you can't get the other eye on the other side of the face to match the other one. I don't know, I think they call it something. They call it, no, I can't remember, but I've seen it around on YouTube, this sort of, you know, wonky eye syndrome anyway. So that way I can space out the eyes, and when I'm drawing the eyes, normally I leave quite a large space in between, so much larger than it would be realistically. But basically what I do is I take the size of the eye and I leave that size in between, and we'll discuss eyebrows in a moment. So that's how I lay out the eyes on a face. And let me just now, yes, I was doing closed eyes. So here is some guidelines roughly, and what I want to do is, when you're drawing now, closed eyes are, I think, are the easiest type of eyes to draw. You just draw a line like this and then a line like that on this side. I hope it looks more or less straight on camera. I am sitting slightly wonkily to get round the tripod, and I just bring off my eyelashes. And it's important when you do eyelashes that you flick your pencil or your marker, your pen, whatever you're using. Eyelashes are not straight. They're kind of flicked. If you flick it, you get that curved up motion that eyelashes have. So I'm just going to sort of flick these down on this side as well. You can put as many or as little as you like, and this line here does need to be quite thick. And then I just draw a nice kind of curved almond shape on top like that, and that's what I do when I'm drawing closed eyes. I'll show you how I draw a closed eye from the profile view as well. For that is very similar. I draw a similar shape. I draw that top line like this, but the bottom line I kind of make straight. So this bottom line is curved right the way down. This one is more flat. Then I just bring it up like that, and then the eyelashes come off like this, and then here is the eyebrow. So sometimes I curve it a bit, but when I'm drawing closed eyes on the profile view like this, that's pretty much how I draw them. So now I'm just going to quickly show you how I draw sort of eyes that are half closed, because when an eye is fully open, you barely see any of the eyelid, and when an eye is fully closed, obviously you see the whole of the eyelid. But then when an eye is half open, half closed, you see half and half, or if someone's looking down. So drawing eyes like this, I find, is a little bit harder to get. So normally I start with a line like this, and this is my base eyelid line. Then I draw another line on top like that, and then I draw the eyelid here, and normally I just kind of connect the two, and then I just draw some little eyelashes to the side, and then I draw in the iris here. So that's somebody looking out of an eye that's sort of half open, half closed. So another thing I could show you guys quickly here before we move on to looking at different different styles of eyes is how to place eyes on a face that's not looking front on, but sort of that it's turned. What do they call it? Is it the 3/4 view they call that? I can't remember, but it's when you have the face that's slightly turned. So let me just get a quick little face here. This isn't perfect, but I'm just demonstrating. So you have a face. So you've got the chin. That does look very wonky, but anyway, and then you draw the guideline for the nose up like that, and then the eye guideline. So let's bring the nose in. Then we have the lips down there. And for the eyes, I draw them just as I would before. And I just tuck this one in here. And sometimes it can be I find the profile much easier to draw, like face on, than this particular view, because tucking this little eye in here can be a bit difficult sometimes, but you don't want it up against the nose, and you don't want it right up against the side of the cheek, the other sort of the side of the head here either. So you kind of want it floating in between, and then you can put in your irises here. Okay, and then the eyebrows. So that's more or less how I do that. And filling sheets of paper with just practicing like this is a really, I think, is a really helpful and useful practice, especially if you just want to kind of blitz drawing eyes one day. I think it can be really beneficial. Right, so there are some eyes now. When it comes to drawing eyes, you can literally draw anything you want. And I know that if you draw eyes like this or eyes really big, you'll always get some people who will look at your work and say, eyes don't look like that. I mean, you could just, if you just want to draw eyes that are simple little circles and colour them in on characters, that's absolutely fine. I also think that if you look at any of your favourite animated TV shows, if you look at the Disney or animated movies, the animes, if you look at art or artists that you really admire, you'll find that the eyes are really different. And I think I always find that when I'm looking at a piece or looking at a TV show or something like that, the eyes are a huge part of the stylization, particularly for characters. The eyes, the way they draw eyes often varies enormously, and it's a huge part of what you remember about a particular character. So here are a few ideas that perhaps that you could use to draw your own sort of eyes. So I think it's quite fun to just draw, if you just want to draw little circles like this, that's really fun. I think this is really good if you're doing like a comic or something where you're drawing the same characters again and again, because you can make 3 little eyelashes for girl eyes, and then just do a circle for boys' eyes. If you, I don't know if any of you guys have ever read the Tintin comics. I used to love those. But Tintin just has little circles. That's all they have, and you don't think, hang on a second, those eyes are a bit weird when you're reading it, because it all fits together. You really don't notice it. Another, you could draw eyes that are like long ovals, and have them like that. And sometimes one of the ways that I have drawn eyes in the past is to start by drawing an oval. I guess this is a little bit like a manga eye, but I don't know the different manga styles. I know there are so many different ways of drawing eyes in manga, but you could draw an eye like that and just sort of have it nestling between the, actually they do need to touch, otherwise they're kind of floating. You can have the eye kind of nestling in between the upper and lower lids, and you can put some eyelashes on the lids, and then you can have the pupil in the middle like that. So you can do whatever you want when it comes to eyes. And I know sometimes when you're drawing and showing, especially if you share your art online, you're bound to get some people who comment, or even in real life, and say, an eye doesn't look like that. But honestly, if you like this type of eye, then you draw this type of eye, because you're only drawing it for yourself. I mean, unless of course you are drawing a commission or something and they've requested something, then that's different. But if you're drawing for yourself, then you draw the sorts of eyes that you want, no matter what anyone else says. That's what I think anyway. The eyebrows often show a lot of will determine the emotion a lot of the time that the character is feeling. So I'm just going to demonstrate this by drawing some very simple little eyes. I know we've been recording for rather a long time now, I think. So this would be sort of just normal. You have the eyebrows quite close to the eye. So like here, the eyebrows would be there. With this one, the eyebrows would be there. You have them close to the eyes, and that's sort of normal. If you want to draw a character that's looking very, very shocked or surprised, then you draw the eyebrows much higher up, so they look like their eyes are open. Because if you stand in the mirror and do different facial expressions and watch your eyebrows, you can watch how they move, and I think that's also a good that's quite a fun thing to do if you want to get better at drawing eyebrows. Stand in the mirror and do lots of different facial expressions and watch your eyebrows. So, and if you want to draw someone who's very angry, you draw the brows like this, so they're knotted together. So they're coming down together, and that will make someone look angry. And the last one here I'm just going to do quickly is if you want to make someone looking sad, and that's you draw the eyebrows kind of coming up like that. So they're just very rough little sketches just to sort of demonstrate what you can do. And I do think that once you start drawing eyes, it's really fun just to sit down and experiment. I mean, you could make eyes that are almost like this, and then you could, make thick eyelashes that come off, and you can do absolutely anything you want. And if you're worried about developing a style or making your work really stand out, then giving your characters very distinctive eyes is a really quick and easy, or maybe not so easy, but it's a very good way to make your characters in your art style look very distinctive very quickly. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought down below. If there are any other tutorials or sort of themed videos that you'd like to see, remember to leave a suggestion. I do write down all of your suggestions in a notebook, and I will try and get to all of them in time. As I said, this was a requested video by one of you. I can't remember who it was because I didn't write down the username, but this was a requested video. So anyway, make sure you leave a comment down below and subscribe if you'd like to see more. I post a new art video once a week. I hope you guys all have a wonderful week.